I find myself having a hard time trying to adjust to this life, because there are moments where I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to plan for? And I realize like a part of me wants to call one of my kids or even my ex or like my sisters or somebody as if I am needing their approval or permission to make these plans. And it's like I have to come to the realization that I don't have to consult with anybody. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to consult with anyone anymore. Everybody is self-sufficient. They are living their lives. They're doing their own thing. And I'm just here. Like I'm just here and I don't want to be that person that just stays within my city. I've traveled, I've gone, y'all see the videos, I've gone to different places and stuff, but I was with someone. And now to do solo traveling, it's not hard for me to travel to another city, like go to another city, stay at a hotel or something for a few days and then come back or something like that. It's not hard to do that by myself, but it's the international travel that I am struggling with. And for some reason, I feel like I need permission or somebody's approval to give me the go. And I don't. And I know a lot of people, I feel like there are a lot of people that had their kids grow up and they're like ready to go, let's do this. But a lot of times they'll have somebody with them, or even if they're by themselves, it's like they have been, I don't know, like they really just may not have been involved in their kid's life too much. I don't know. But for myself, my own experience, I have centered like every single thing I've done I've always put everyone else before me. And this is a time where I get to put myself first. Not just that it's like, oh, I need to take my life back and put myself first. It's like I actually get to do this. Nobody is stopping me. Nobody is hindering me. It's just me against me against my new self or this new life, me in this new life versus me in my former life. And I know that God says that your the days ahead will be better than the former, and I don't know why I feel like it's got to be some kind of trauma or something that I still have to get past or to heal from. But there's this small part of me that is like, I need to ask somebody if this is okay. Not in those exact words, but I find myself wanting to talk to somebody and give them my plans and tell them as if I'm trying to get permission or approval, or for somebody to be like, yeah, do it. And then I say, okay, I'm gonna do it, instead of me just initiating whatever it is I want to do and just going forth with it. I've always been a big advocate of traveling and creating or collecting experiences over things. Not always. There was a part of me where I fell into the trap of consumerism and wanting to have luxury things and a bunch of stuff. And I think that social media played a big part in it, because once I realized that there are people who are living alternative lifestyles, there are people that are living in RVs or living on cruise ships, living out of hotels, living out of their car, and living off grid, stuff like that. And then understanding that, wow, society really does try to keep you bound, tries to keep you in bondage with things like car loans, home loans, student loans, credit card loans, all of that stuff. You could at any point be evicted from your apartment. At any point, your house can go into foreclosure, and the cost of living just keeps going up and up and up, and the pay isn't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like once my eyes started to open, I realized, I was like, I don't need all of this stuff. And then on top of that, with my spiritual journey, you know what I'm saying? Like on top of that, with building my relationship with God, with Jesus, and you know, realizing that I don't need all of that stuff. It's just junk. It's just stuff to keep you distracted. So I think I've kind of reached a point in my life where I would much rather collect experiences. I would much rather see what else is out there. Since I was a kid, I always felt like there has got to be more than this life. And I don't know why I was thinking like that as a child, but I used to stare at the moon a lot at night. I used to stare at the sky. I still stare at the sky for some reason. I just stand there and just look at the stars or look at this, the sky, the clouds, all of that. And I think to myself, there's got to be more. And then when I did start traveling, when I went to Mexico and went to Thailand and stuff like that, I realized there is a whole nother world out here. And I would much rather experience this. But I think that it's easier to say when you know that you have like people around you, or when you have the verbal support of your family members, or you know what I'm saying. Now it's like they tell me, go ahead and do it, mom, go for it, and I'm like, okay, but do it. But when I start the planning process, there's nobody else to plan it with. It's just me planning by myself. And I'm thinking, well, do I want to stay here? Do I want to stay there? And I feel like I always have to bounce my ideas off of somebody instead of just trusting in my own thoughts and trusting in God and trusting in my, abilities and stuff. And so it makes it a little harder. However, I would much rather, have this type of a lifestyle than to have to be bound by consumerism, but to be bound by working the traditional 9 to 5. And it's just a lot. It's a lot going on. At the end of the day, I see that it is a transition. It is me having to come to terms that regardless of what's going on, I'm going to have to figure this out on my own. I'm going to have to trust in my own abilities and my choices, making better choices. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to traveling, when it comes to budgeting, making sure that I'm healing so that I can continue down the path that brings forth my best self, for my family and stuff like that. But at the same time, understanding that my family is doing they're all doing their own thing. I'm not saying that they don't care about me, but I'm not even gonna lie. At times, I feel like they don't care about me. I feel like nobody cares about me. I'm gonna be real. There's going to be times where I feel alone and I feel like, wow, ain't nobody called me or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I get it because I was young. I was 20, 21. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never called my mom like that. And like, I'm not just talking about my kids either. It's just like anybody, anybody in my family, my ex, Now, I'm not going to say that like my ex did call me this morning and I got to speak to my little one, or our little one. But other than that, it's like, it's a different feeling. I don't know. And it's probably just all in my head. It's just all in my head because it's a new environment. It's a new situation, a different type of transitioning I'm having to go through. It's a season of isolation. So I just I need to deal with it, and I'm gonna get through it. I am. That's why I'm documenting this, because I feel like I hope that this can help other people that are out there. You know what I'm saying? And when I was doing research on empty nesters on YouTube, I was like, I don't really see a whole lot of people talking about this. And maybe it's because a lot of people are ready for their kids to go. And although I somewhat was, in a way, like I was, of course, you get tired, but once it actually happens, you're like, this went by so fast. The years go by so fast. They grow up so fast, but anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Write in the comments what your thoughts are, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Bye.